This is not a myth. This is not a scene from a horror film. This is a historical event. In the heart of Christian Rome, in the most sacred halls, a pope is putting his predecessor on trial. The charge? Betraying the church. The problem? The defendant has been dead for 9 months. Welcome to the Cadaver Synod, the single most blasphemous act ever to stain the papacy. And to understand why this nightmare happened, we have to leave the tomb and go back to a time when Rome wasn't a center of faith, but a prize for the ruthless. The year is 891 AD. The idea of the Pope as a universal spiritual leader is a fantasy. Reality is far grimmer. Historians call this the Saeculum Obscurum, the pornocracy or the rule of the harlots. For nearly a century, the papacy is a political football, controlled by two things: Roman street gangs and a single, scheming aristocratic family, Theophylact, his wife Theodora, and their daughter Marozia. They don't just influence the Pope. They appoint him. They murder him. They sleep with him. The throne of St. Peter is a weapon, and it's drenched in blood and gold. Into this snake pit walks Formosus, Bishop of Porto, intelligent, ambitious, and a brilliant diplomat. He's sent on a critical mission to convert the Bulgarians. But here's fact number one. He makes a powerful hidden enemy. The Bulgarian king Boris I is so impressed, he wants Formosus to be the Archbishop of Bulgaria, a massive power play. But Rome says no. Formosus is forced to humiliate Boris and leave. He gains prestige in Rome, but sows the seed of a grudge that will fester for decades in the powerful Bulgarian church. The big power struggle is between the Holy Roman Emperor in Germany and the Italian warlords around Rome. Formosus, as a senior cardinal, is present when Pope Stephen V crowns Guy III of Spoleto as emperor, aligning with the Italian faction. But fact number two, Formosus is secretly on Team Germany. He swears an oath of loyalty to Guy and the Pope he despises. This oath, made under duress, is a perjury he will later be tried for. It's the noose he willingly puts around his own neck. In 891, against his own wishes, the elderly Formosus is elected Pope. He is 75. A puppet of the Roman mob? Perhaps. But fact number three, he immediately breaks his oath. He appeals to the German king, Arnulf of Carinthia, to come to Rome, save him from the Italian warlords, and get a proper imperial coronation. In 896, Arnulf arrives, storms Rome, and Formosus crowns him as a true Holy Roman Emperor. It's a direct, brutal middle finger to the powerful Spoletan family and their Roman allies. He has chosen his side, and he has made his successors list. Then, fate intervenes with shocking cruelty. Weeks after his coronation, the mighty Arnulf suffers a sudden, paralyzing stroke. His army retreats to Germany in disarray. The Spoletans and their Roman allies swarm back into Rome. Fact number four, Formosus is left completely exposed. He is a traitor in the eyes of the victors, unprotected and dying. He succumbs in April 896, likely of sheer terror and old age. He must have thought his suffering was over. He was wrong. The Spoletans need a pope who will do two things: legitimize their rule and utterly destroy the memory of Formosus. They find their instrument, Stephen VI, a bishop known for his violent temper and total loyalty to the Spoletan Duke, Lambert. But here's the critical, often missed fact number five. Stephen was not just a puppet. He was a fanatic. He likely genuinely believed Formosus had sinned against God by switching sides. This trial wasn't just politics. It was a violent act of religious purification in Stephen's twisted mind. Stephen's plan is medieval, brutal, and genius in its sacrilege. To nullify Arnulf's coronation and all of Formosus' appointments, you can't just declare it. You need a legal verdict. And for a verdict, you need a defendant. Stephen issues the order: exhume the body of Pope Formosus. Fact number six. This was unprecedented in Roman law, but had a dark precedent. Ancient Roman law did allow for the posthumous trial and condemnation of traitors, often involving dragging and mutilating their bodies. Stephen was weaponizing old pagan law inside the heart of Christianity. 9 months in a stone tomb in Roman climate. The body of Formosus would have been in an advanced state of putrefaction, bloated, dripping. Fact number 7. The act of dressing, it was a calculated humiliation. Each sacred vestment, the alb, the stole, the chasuble, was a layer of holiness being violated. Putting the rotting body on the throne was the ultimate mockery. Look at your Pope now. In January of 897, in the Great Hall of the Basilica of St. John Lateran, the trial began. Stephen VI presided from the judge's seat. Arrayed before him were the bishops and cardinals of Rome, forced to bear witness. And in the defendant's dock, the rotting body of Pope Formosus. A deacon was even appointed to stand beside the corpse and act as its defense lawyer, answering the charges on its behalf. Fact number 8. A corpse was given a defense lawyer. This proves Stephen was obsessed with the legal form of his revenge. He wanted the facade of justice to make the spiritual annihilation complete. Imagine the scene. Stephen would scream an accusation at the corpse. Formosus, why did you, as Bishop of Porto, covet the see of Rome? It is forbidden to switch bishoprics. The deacon would stammer a response. Stephen would shriek, "You lie? You perjured yourself. You are no pope. You are a usurper." It was a macabre puppet show with the ultimate power move, humiliating an enemy who couldn't fight back. The verdict was guilty. The sentence was annihilation. First, all his papal acts were invalidated. Second, the vestments were ripped from the decomposing body. Third, the 3 blessing fingers of his right hand were cut off. This isn't just violence, it's surgical. It's destroying the physical instrument of his papal authority. The body was then dragged through the streets and thrown into a burial ground for foreigners, a final insult denying him his Roman identity. But Stephen misjudged the people. The Romans, for all their corruption, were superstitiously devout. Fact number 9. A series of violent earthquakes shook Rome shortly after the trial, seen as God's wrath. The clergy revolted. A mob, possibly led by Formosus' supporters and outraged monks, arrested Stephen. They stripped him of his papal insignia, threw him in a dungeon, and later that year, he was strangled. The judge was executed by the court of public opinion. The next pope, Romanus, tried to calm things by giving Formosus a proper burial. Bad move. Stephen's supporters dug him up again and threw him in the river Tiber. Fact number 10. The legend of the miraculous corpse. The next pope, Theodore II, finally recovered the body. Legend says it was found perfectly preserved, floating down the river, a sign of divine favor. He gave a final, solemn burial in St. Peter's. The corpse had finally found peace after its posthumous odyssey. The Cadaver Synod wasn't just a bizarre anecdote. It was the lowest point of the papacy, a symbol of its complete political captivity. It created a crisis so deep that it helped spark the Cluniac, reforms a century later, a desperate effort to clean house. It also stands as history's most extreme example of damnatio memoriae, the damnation of memory. It shows that for the truly vengeful, killing a man isn't enough. You have to kill his legacy, his name, and even the sanctity of his death. So why did a pope put a corpse on trial? Because in the 9th century, the papacy was a throne of thorns, fought over by gangsters and fanatics. Stephen VI was both. He used the corpse of Formosus as a prop in a terrifying play, meant to show that not even death could protect you from the wrath of the powerful. It was politics as a form of necromancy. It asks us a disturbing question. What extremes will we go to, not just to defeat an enemy, but to erase them from history itself? Now subscribe, because let's be honest, you're either the type of person who seeks out dark, forgotten history like this, or you're not. If you're still watching, you're one of us. Don't just lurk in the shadows. Hit subscribe and prove you're not afraid of the real, twisted past. Or, if you think this is too dark to support, comment too far below and tell me why. I dare you.